Hey guys, here we go again with another practice video for the Alpha Omega students. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us as we're doing these. So last week I didn't give you a practice video because I wanted you to go back and repeat a lot of the standing stuff that we've been doing. Well, this week's going to be a lot different, okay? So today we're going to be working with stuff on the ground, all right? My friend Bob here is going to be helping me out as we do these. We're going to have a lot of fun with this, but I want you to make sure that whenever you do this, you have a good surface to do it on. Make sure you're not wearing clothes that you're going to feel bad if they get a little scuffed up on the knees and whatnot, because we are going to be on the ground today. Now I've got some nice mats here to work on that makes it easy for me, and I'm wearing this cool little rash guard shirt that's pretty slick on the outside so I can spin on the floor. I wouldn't advise doing this on like a shag carpet, like a deep carpet. That might be a problem. Definitely not on gravel or concrete. You'll get a little scuffed up doing that. But if you can find some decent carpet to do it on, or outside on the grass where you're not gonna be pummeled around by the ground, that'll be a great place for you to work. Okay, so we're gonna work on a couple of things today. The very first thing we're gonna work on is called a sprawl. So Mr. Bob is gonna hang out here for just a minute. I'm gonna show you this motion. You may not be able to see my head as I stand up for this, but that's okay because most of what I'm gonna be doing is on the ground. So the sprawl is a motion that we use to get our hips down and our head up away from our attacker. This is a great defense for somebody's coming in and trying to grab your legs and throw you on the floor. So this is the basic sprawl, okay? So this is a technique that's not on your test, but it is going to be something that you're going to want to know. So when I do a sprawl, essentially what I'm trying to do is kick my feet back and away from me, get my hips as far away from the bad guy as I can. We've been doing bear hugs, so we've been talking about keeping our belly button away from their belly button. Well, if they're running in to grab me, then it's going to be harder to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to kick those feet back. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my feet back and drop my hands down at the same time. Boom. Now if I stay here, they can still reach up and grab my legs. So instead I want to drop my hips down and get my head up high. So when you do this to a real person, we're assuming that he's reached down here to grab my legs, so that's why he's short, okay? So from here, when I do it, I'm going to drop down, boom, to here. So now my feet are way back here. I'm dropping my weight into him. This is called the sprawl. From here, I can drop one hip down, spin around, do all sorts of cool chokes and whatnot. Don't worry too much about that right now. You just really want to work on using the sprawl. So the way you can practice that is simply put your hands out in front of you and get your hips back, hands drop to the floor, feet kick back, belly down, and then pull it all back underneath you and stand up, okay? That really helps you to work this lower band of muscles here, all right? If you want to do it a little faster, you can do it all in one motion. Pop, here. Feet should be wide apart, not close together, because then you're easy to roll over. All right, so there's your sprawl. I want you to practice that this week. The next thing I want you to practice is the escape from guard, okay? So you're gonna see this in class. What you want to be doing here is thinking about the fact that you get here from a really bad situation, okay? The really bad situation is top mount. Now, if you were with us last semester, you got to learn how to escape that. I'll show you that briefly. So we assume that the person has hopped on top of us. They're kind of kneeling on either side of us. They've got their weight on our hips here, and maybe they're choking us, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down one of those arms. Boom. I'm actually going to go this way so I don't run over Bob. I break down one of the arms, and then I bridge my hips, and I roll over. Then I'm going to try to stand up and leave if I can. Here's the problem with that. I might not be able to leave. They might know what they're doing, and they might put me in what's called the guard, which is what we're going to be learning this semester. So the guard is a bad place for you to be unless you're the person on the bottom. So let me demonstrate how it works. Mr. Bob's going to come in here. So essentially the guard is, we've ended up down here. We rolled over from him being on top of me. Now he's trying to get away, but I'm smart. I know what to do. So I reach up here and I grab his neck and I wrap my feet around him and I tuck him in tight here. Now from here, there's a ton of things that I can do, and there's not a lot he can do. He can try to hit me from here, but I can push him back away from me with my legs. I can pull him in tight and control his head so he really doesn't have any power. Now obviously he doesn't have any legs, but you kind of get the idea here, right? I've got control of the situation. I can do things like sweeps to roll him over and end up back in top mount. So this is not a place you want to stay, all right? So we're gonna flip Bob over here. Now, assuming that Mr. Bob has legs, which he doesn't, okay? I've ended up down here, and he's got those legs wrapped around me. Well, my job is to get out. I'm gonna move this way just a little bit so I can make sure you guys see everything. So here I am, and we rolled over, and he's wrapped his legs around me. Now, I've trained you guys that when we're down here on the floor, if you were with me last semester, we immediately start doing what's called posturing. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like. As soon as we roll over, I'm gonna start pushing on his hips or his lower belly here, okay? I don't want to push up here on his chest. That's going to get me into trouble. So instead, I want to go for the hip bones right here, or even in the middle of the belly, okay? Just below the belt right there. Very uncomfortable for them. I'm kind of leaning toward going to the hips because then I've got a little bit of lateral control here. So once I'm here, I'm then going to look up to the sky and kind of arch my back. I'm dropping my knees out wide so he can't just throw me over to one side or the other. This is called making good posture. Once I'm here, I don't need to look at him anymore because I know exactly where he's at. So don't ever duck your head down because then they're going to grab your head and pull you down. So here I am. Great posture. I'm going to take one knee and I'm going to put it right in the middle of their rear. So this knee's going to stay out wide. This one's going to kind of scoot in and bump right in the middle of their rear, okay? From here, I'm going to take the other leg. I'm going to put it back and out to the side. This is called a kickstand, okay? Just like the kickstand on your bicycle or your motorcycle. So here I am. I've got my kickstand out. Not up here where he can grab it, but way back here. That's already started to lengthen out his leg, so it's hard for him to hold on. Now, his leg is wrapped around me right here. So keeping this arm down in posture here, where he can't pull me down, I'm going to take this elbow and I'm going to start digging it into his leg. What I'm aiming for here is the inside of the knee, or just above the knee is really what we're looking for. There's a cool little nerve right there. I'm going to start pushing and kind of bouncing my hips a little bit. As soon as his feet come apart behind me, I'm going to scoop underneath that leg. I'm then going to throw it over, pass around and stand up, and then I can finish with a strike if I'd like to. Boom, the kidney. So let me go ahead and do that from the other side. Again, remember that Mr. Bob does not have legs, so he's not moving like a person will be moving, but you get the basic idea. As soon as I get here, I've rolled over, boom, I hit top mount, boom, starting to make good posture. Legs out wide, hands on the hips. From here, take one knee, put it in the middle of the tush, okay? With the real bad guy, you can go ahead and give him a good pop there with your knee. All right, from here, I'm gonna take the other leg, stick it back and out. Using the elbow on the same side that I've stuck that leg back on, start wedging, wedging, wedging. I'm not trying to stick my arm through yet. I gotta get his feet to break apart first. So I push on the inside of that knee until, boom, it opens up. Scoop the leg, pop it up onto my shoulder, throw it over. That's gonna cause him to roll up like this. I'm gonna stand up, do a finishing strike, and leave. Okay, so there's what I want you to practice for this week. The escape from guard and that lovely sprawl motion. All right, guys, hope you have a great class. Hope you guys enjoy this training. Please make sure you practice safely. Keep training, keep growing, and I'll see you again next week.